tone for today's discussion, we have with us pioneer in the field of CSR, who is none other than Dr. Bhaskar Chatterjee. I would now request Dr. Chatterjee to come and inaugurate the event with your words and enlighten us. Dr. Chatterjee is widely recognized as the father of CSR in India, having played a pivotal role in shaping the CSR guidelines under the Companies Act. His insights and expertise have been instrumental in driving CSR initiatives across the country. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Bhaskar Chatterjee to deliver the opening notes.
A very good morning to all the assembled guests and delegates here this morning. Many familiar faces, Brigadier Saab, Gayatri, so many others here. Delighted to see all of you. When I talk about CSR, I keep wondering what I should say. But let me start by saying that we have completed 10 years of mandated CSR in India. 1st of April 2014 is when the mandate began, and 1st of April 2024 we completed 10 years. These 10 years have been what I would call a validation of an experiment. Let me say without hesitation that when we were trying to put the law together, it really seemed like an experiment, never even attempted in any part of the world, designed for a country with so much diversity in every field. Would it work? Would it not work? Are we throwing a stone in the dark and attempting to hit somewhere? And today, when we stand 10 years down the line, there is such a feeling of pride, such a feeling of belief, such a feeling of validation that what we have done or created at that time has really stood firm and steadfast. A few statistics will bear us out. When we were attempting to write the law, way back in around 2012-13, we looked at about 9,000 companies. And barely that much really began the journey in 2014. Today we have more than 18,000 companies. The number of companies has doubled. It is also mildly shameful to learn that about 3,946 companies who are eligible under Section 135 have not spent a single pi. In all of these 10 years, they have remained under the radar, hidden from sight. It's like, the hide button when you go show and hide. If they had spent even 1 rupee, we would have had about 22,000 companies doing CSR. How much do we spend? 22, 23, I think the figures are still being compiled. But approximately 28,000 crores. We are not today something that you think about. We are a pillar of the economy. We don't touch people's lives. We transform them. Rabia was asking this very important question. Are we going somewhere? Our Prime Minister has told us we will be a developed country by 2047. And you asked, will we be? In GDP terms, maybe we will. But from the social point of view, in terms of the downtrodden, the marginalized, the economic disparity, gender equality, and so much more, it's amazing to find that if you look at the Human Development Index or our hunger index or the corruption index, we are somewhere near about the bottom 25% of the nations of the world. GDP terms, we may get there. But a nation is not measured only by per capita GDP. It's measured by much more. And the fear is that we might well fall short even when we celebrate 100 years of our independence. I say this because CSR has an amazing role to play in helping us to improve our scores in these indices. Why so? Because so much of Schedule 7 addresses those very issues where we need to really do field level work with meaningful, sustainable impact. Consider, for example, the fact that when we were again writing the law, many people said to me, Dr. Chatterjee, you are the father of CSR. Okay. You have been part of the process that got the law in place. You were responsible for writing most of the rules. Where have you defined CSR? Where in the law or in the rules or anywhere is there a definition? Can anyone answer that question? You're all practitioners. The answer is, there is, yes, tell me. In the law or the rules, is there a definition? Have you seen it? So don't define it yourself, because that is meaningless. The answer is, we did not purposely define it. There is no definition, either in the Act or in the rules or anywhere. Therefore, what is CSR? 10 years into the law. And the answer is another Chatterjeeism. What is in Schedule 7 is CSR. What is not CSR. Schedule 7 is the list of activities which you can do for CSR. If you step outside it, there is no CSR. And that really is the best definition, because any other definition which you may give, if I ask every one of you, please stand up and tell me what is your idea of CSR, you will receive 100 different ideas. If you try to write it down, it will always be interpreted differently. So the simple thing is, if it is in Schedule 7, it is. If it is not, it is not. Simple as that. And therefore, in these 10 years, what have we seen? What are the trends in CSR? All of you sitting in this room, one advice I will give you, which is that whenever you think of CSR, think of a triangle or a pyramid. And the visual definition of CSR will float up in your minds. Why so? Because at the apex of this triangle sits government, which is the regulatory and the facilitator. Two sides of the base. One is the corporate, which funds, oversees, monitors, assesses the impact. The other is the NGO or the society or the Section 8 company, that implements the CSR project. This is the triangle of Indian CSR. Whenever you visualize it mentally, use that visualization. You will never go wrong. The trends, 3 or 4, I'll mention them. The first difficulty we faced when we were writing and implementing the law was the mutual distrust of the two main players, corporate entities and implementing agencies. If the funder and the implementer are at loggerheads, will you ever implement a project? I ask you, Rabia, please do this for me. And you say, sorry, Dr. Chatterjee, I'm bailing out, goodbye. What happens to what I asked you to do? It's gone. So if we are on a project together and you and I don't believe in each other, there is no project. And the fact is that corporates initially were very hesitant to fund NGOs, which they felt was an unorganized sector, without the capacity and the financial muscle to be able to receive and spend monies in a responsible manner. Equally, NGOs felt that corporates were selfish entities, driven by profit and profit alone. Over these 10 years now, we see a closure in that gap. What we call the trust deficit is now closing. There's a lot more dialogue, much more belief, much more on selecting projects together. If I tell you something, Rabia, please do this, and you say, sorry, sir, I don't believe in that, therefore I will not do. But if you and I pick something to do, which we both believe in, we will do it. And that's how CSR is matching the two main players. What do we also see in attitudes? Corporates, which were so chary, so suspicious of the CSR law, today accept it wholeheartedly, not as a challenge, but as an opportunity. We gave them an opportunity to participate in the inclusive development of the nation. The song that they sung in 2014 was, helping the poor is the task of the government. Don't thrust that responsibility on us. We pay our taxes. It is government which should look after the poor. Does any corporate stand up here and say that on a mic in public anymore? They would be thrown with rotten eggs and tomatoes, because that argument no longer holds. Helping the poor, giving back to society, is today as much a credo among corporate entities, not just in India, but across the entire globe. See the trends and how they have developed and how much they have changed. In boardrooms, CSR is a seriously taken topic. Another Chatterjeeism. We took CSR from the back room to the boardroom. Every single initiative on CSR is now within the scope of the CSR committee headed by an independent director. Every project is sanctioned by the CSR committee. The CSR policy is written by the best brains of the company which sit on the board. And therefore it gets and merits the attention it deserves, it is now elevated to an essential item on every corporate agenda. Because this is happening, the fourth trend, no longer a tick box, something we need to do, but when we spend money, where are we spending it? And where we spend it, are we leaving a lasting impact? Gone are the days when we would say, let's do an eye camp here or an ambulance there or something here, when that was the era which we called intermittent CSR. Off and on. Feeling good today, let's do some CSR. Sun is shining today, let's do some CSR. None of that operates anymore. It's about a sustained, planned, strategic activity in which the best minds of the business are involved. And therefore, you will see, and this is another statistic which I'm getting analyzed now, gone are the days of spending 10 lakhs per project or 5 lakhs per project or 2 lakhs per project. Gone are the days when we would do projects for 1 day or 3 days or 7 days or 1 month. No project gets passed usually unless the value is at least 30 to 40 lakhs. No project gets passed unless it is at least of 1 year duration. Corporates are not entertaining hit and run activities. The trend is going towards also not slapping your own back, not giving credit to yourselves, but to third-party social impact evaluation. I have done a project, I have financed it, Rabia has implemented it. Should you say how wonderful it's been? Should I say how wonderful it's been? No. If I ask Brigadier Williams to look at the project and say, can you give me an opinion? The world would value his opinion because he is the outside third party. And more, the idea of objective third-party evaluation is today's trend. I don't wish to bore you with more of this. All I wanted to say is, this journey has been an incredibly exciting one for all of us who've been here. For many who have not, but watched it from the outside. And every one of you as a participant would feel thrilled that these 10 years have validated that experiment which we began way back in 2014. Thank you.
So, how was it? Just great. I think he needs a huge round of applause. I could not hear the round of your clap, please. The way he has shared the insights and depths, how the CSR is working, I think no one of us could have understood in a better way. So thank you, sir. I would now request Brigadier Rajiv Williams to please come up on the stage and felicitate our chief guest, Dr. Bhaskar Chatterjee. Thank you so much.